Now read along as the directions for Part B are being read. Part B. Directions. In this part of the test, you will hear longer conversations. After each conversation, you will hear several questions. The conversations and questions will not be repeated. After you hear a question, read the 4 possible answers in your test book and choose the best answer. Then, on your answer sheet, find the number of the question and fill in the space that corresponds to the letter of the answer you have chosen. Remember, you are not allowed to take notes or write in your test book. Go on to the next page. Now we will begin Part B with the first conversation. Questions 31 through 35. Listen to a conversation between 2 teachers outside of the chemistry building.
I don't know, Susan. I don't feel like I'm reaching my freshman class this semester.
Why do you say that?
It's just that they seem to glaze over with non-comprehension, even when I'm talking about the basics. They're not especially motivated either. I know the class is a first-year science requirement for most of them, but I've got to do something.
Jane, you know Jane White, she teaches physics. She just told me about how she livens up her classes.
What does she do?
Well, basically, she takes something they're interested in, like music, and tries to relate principles of science to that. Otherwise, the concepts seem to go right over their heads.
Do you mean, for example, she'd use rock and roll to demonstrate the principles of acoustics in physics?
Exactly. In fact, she said she had used music, and she's used movies, especially science fiction, in her classes, too.
Sounds like her method's worth a try, but I need a few more details. Maybe I'll go see her tomorrow. Thanks.
Number 31. What is the man's complaint? Number 32. What kind of class does the man probably teach? Number 33. What does the man imply is the reason for his problem? Number 34. What does Jane White do to improve her classes? Number 35. What is the man's response to Jane White's teaching method? Questions 36 through 38. Listen to a conversation between 2 students at the beach.
Ouch! How can this sand be so hot when the water's still cold? My feet feel like they're getting blisters.
Now, Mark, were you sleeping when Professor Brooke gave that lecture on specific heat in physics class?
I didn't come to San Diego on spring break to talk about Professor Brooke's physics class.
I know, me neither. I was just answering your question, that's all.
What question?
You weren't even paying attention to your own question.
I was just complaining about the hot sand. Considering what the water's like, I wonder how the sand can be so hot.
Well, Professor Brooke's lecture on specific heat might give you a clue. Water has a higher specific heat than sand.
Then why is the sand so much hotter if water has a higher specific heat?
Don't you remember? Specific heat is the energy needed to raise the temperature of something. If something has a high specific heat like water, it takes more energy to raise its temperature.
I see. So you're saying that something with a high specific heat, like water, doesn't get hot as fast as something with a low specific heat, like sand, right?
Right. So sand gets hotter faster during the day. That's why it's so hot while the water's still cool.
I guess you're right. I should pay more attention in class.
Number 36. What is the woman trying to explain to the man? Number 37. What is the man complaining about? Number 38. What does the woman say about water? This is the end of Part B. Go on to the next page.